So, I finally finishing Fairy Tail. At least for now. It's been a little bit since I finished the final season of Fairy Tail. I believe I put a tweet out when I did, so you can probably figure out when I actually did and how long it's actually been since then. I actually don't remember. So this might be a little bit of a hazier, less coherent review and discussion of my thoughts on the final season because it's not as fresh in my mind as it was before. Yeah. Also, my OBS is playing up a little bit, so if there are any weird cuts or anything, it's probably because of that. Anyway, so the final season. Overall, it was okay. It was an alright ending to okay, my OBS just froze and it was stuck on recording of 41 seconds for like a good minute. So I don't really, not minute, that wasn't even close, good like 5 to 10 seconds. I'm just gonna keep talking and hope things work. I'll give this a listen afterward. Anyway, that's beside the point. As I was saying, it's an alright ending to Fairy Tail. I do have gripes with it, obviously. But let's just go through it, shall we? So, we obviously start off with Natsu and Lucy going out to find everybody else. And if I remember correctly, the first people they meet back up with is Wendy and Shala, who's now in human form. Because she learned transformation magic, I guess, and that's never explained any further as to how she did that, and I guess that's just by the by. I guess Marshmallow just wanted to have another cute female character or something. Yeah, and so Wendy's with, what's the guild? Lamia Scale, yep, with Shelia, and they're, like, doing stuff. But then she does eventually go with them, and, you know, there's a tearful goodbye or whatever with Shelia. Anyway, moving on. And then the next person they find is Juvia, who's all depressed and shit, because Gray's being a dick. For literally no reason. Yes, it's because Ezra told him to for the mission he's on, to infiltrate this, like, fucking cult guild thing that worships Zeref and want to summon him. But, like, it's still fucking stupid. I find this a little bit dumb. But sure, yes, it's kind of explained, but I don't think it's very well written either way. But that happens. And then they meet up with Ezra when they're, like, defending a city from this said cult, and, you know, there's that. And we also get to see that Natsu is super OP now, as when at Lamia Scale meeting with Wendy, one of the guys that they fought on Tenrojima, who is with Hades, who is strong enough to fight Guildarts very, very evenly. Natsu just fucking obliterates, because he's now stupid OP. What was after that? I actually think after that is when they go to the other continent, isn't it, to find the master. Fuck, what's his name? Makarov, there we are. I think there's a bit in between, but I can't really remember it. But yeah, so they go to whatever that continent's called, the place that Zeref rules in the name of Spriggan. Yeah, they go there, and we see, you know, that Zeref has this empire of all these ridiculously powerful mages who are stronger than the strongest mages of whatever the continent that we're on's called. I just know the name of I genuinely can't remember. I just know that the city's Magnolia. So yeah, there's that. Alvarez, something like that, I think. Yeah. That's all I've got. So yeah, they're kind of cool, but it's like, yep, there's even more ridiculously powerful people. Just keep upping the power scaling. Fun. I do have thoughts on power scaling, how it can be done properly, but this is not the place for it. Anyway. So yeah, that happens, and then Makarov is almost killed, but doesn't die because they save him. And then they fight the sand guy for a little bit. They don't really beat him, but you know, they get away and they get back to the mainland, the home. And then yeah, then there's the big war that happens where there's a bunch of fights. In fact, yeah, there's just a bunch of fights really. They're kind of cool. Laxus, what goes on with him is fucking stupid. The fact that he has like the Bane particles that I don't remember them originally being called Bane particles, and then out of nowhere they're just suddenly being called Bane particles, which I find a bit strange, but yeah. So yeah, he's got like the Bane particles going on, and then like he all of a sudden doesn't. when fighting this guy because this guy's got anti-Bane particle stuff, so it just cures him of all the damage the Bane particles have done to his body instantaneously, which is a bit weird, but sure. Yeah, you got Ezra's mother that we meet, who's obviously, you know, fighting for the enemy, who's like ridiculously powerful, hence why it makes sense that Ezra is really strong by comparison to everybody else. Her backstory is something, I guess, being, you know, she's one of the original Dragon Slayers, but also that shows that Acnologia isn't the only Dragon Slayer to have turned into a dragon. I don't remember if we were ever told that he was the only one that happened to, but I don't think it was ever stated, so sure. Obviously, her being able to turn into a human makes sense, because as we know, Acnologia can do that. Seemingly only those two can. I presume it's because they were originally human. I assume a normal dragon can't do that. Yep. Then we also have Zeref's son, but not his real son, because his real son is actually August. But we have, oh, what was his name? The guy that's like Zeref, but like primary color is white instead of black. And, you know, he does all the stuff of like, oh yeah, pleasure and shit, bro. Yeah, he's there. He was just kind of boring, if I'm being honest, and his magic was stupid as well. Yes, you will feel pleasure and then die and go to Nirvana. I mean, yeah, sure, but like, I don't know. It doesn't really make for any interesting dynamic. It's just there. And also, it seems to like only work on some people, not everybody, but most people, but not some people. Weird. I don't know. It was never really explained. So, moving on. Oh yeah, Makarov, quote-unquote, dies, but doesn't die because, you know, people can't actually die in this show. At least not relevant characters that are important or something. You know, can't have any stakes involved in what's going on. Yeah, Mavis and Zeref, you know, do die at the end, but like, and so does Acnologia as well, but obviously, you know, he's the final boss. But like, really, you couldn't have had like an emotional impact death, like Makarov actually dying instead of just turning to stone and then coming back. Like, really? Could have added some weight to it, but sure, I guess. We'll roll with it. Kind of removes the similar problem I have with Black Clover, where there was a point where they just removed all the stakes of every fight ever because they introduced resurrection magic, and then, you know, a character that should have very much been dead, even though they weren't even a very relevant character, so them dying wasn't the biggest deal, but it would have had an impact on other character development. They just bring them back to life, invalidating all of the emotional input into that fight. But anyway, and that's about the time I stopped reading Black Clover. If you've read it, you'll know what I'm on about, and I think that was shit, but yeah. What happens there? Oh yeah, we get the Zeref Natsu fight twice. There's two of those. The first one is kind of cool, and the second one's just kind of, you know, again, just another fist fight. That's all they really ever do. And Zeref, you know, he absorbs Mavis, gets the fucking fairy heart, which is supposed to give him unlimited magic power, and then he gets beat pretty easily by Natsu afterward. Like, what? So fairy heart clearly wasn't that impressive of a spell. I don't think it was worth anything you put into it, but okay. So that MacGuffin failed to live up to expectations, as most do. And yeah, overall, that was pretty mediocre, at least. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The final season was just kind of alright, because most stuff didn't really live up to expectations. Yeah, the fights were cool, but like, that doesn't make a show good. You know what I mean? That's all I've really got to say. The Acnologia stuff at the end. Yeah, Acnologia, yeah, he's an arcane dragon, like, no magic works, bro, like, none at all, he just eats it all, bro, and then he gets sucked into a time rift, and then takes control of the time rift, because he can. Like, what? Alright, sure. And as for the twist of the Dragon Slayers coming from super far in the past, sure, cool, I guess, doesn't really change anything, so it can be there if it wants to be, bit superfluous, but again, sure. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the final season. Now, obviously, when I say I finally finished finishing Fairy Tail, for now, that's because obviously I believe 100 Year Quest has a confirmed anime. No idea when it's coming out, but I believe the anime for it has been confirmed. So, we will most certainly be finishing Fairy Tail at least once more. And I'll probably title that something like, I finally finished Fairy Tail for real? This time or something. Good God. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this series of videos. Been a long time coming, this one. But yeah, with that out of the way, I've been Animosity, you've been you, and I hope to catch you all next time for another video. Ta-ta. Bye now.